and there was a guy standing there.
That's crazy.
Maybe management doesn't.
I left school early as hell just said.
Thank you.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. I'm Rick Geralt. I'm with CSEA, the Civil Service Employees Association. It's cold today, but it's been cold here for a while ever since they shut that factory down.
That's right.
As now, with the state budget that's proposed, we're going to be looking at buildings like that school that are going to be closed down. I want to read to all of you a letter that was sent to us today from Matthew Rothschild, the editor and publisher of The Progressive, in solidarity with all of us and this effort that we're putting forth today. It also represents the Union of Progressive Association of Workers affiliated with the AFL-CIO. On behalf...
Sir.
Hey, Jimmy, how you doing? Well, you do pretty good yourself. You do pretty good yourself.
Okay, now we'll try this. Oh, yeah. Alright. To the Solidarity Ralliers in Syracuse, on behalf of staff of the Progressive magazine based in Madison, and if I may presume to speak on behalf of all the demonstrators who have so beautifully exercised their constitutional rights of free speech and assembly in Wisconsin to guarantee their right to collective bargaining as enshrined in Article 23 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, I would like to thank you, the Solidarity Ralliers today in Syracuse, for joining us in this great cause. Your support re-energizes our spirits. You embolden us to keep taking the fight to the plutocrats and the Koch brothers and their paid servants like Governor Scott Walker, who want nothing less than to destroy the social fabric of this country and create a playground for corporations. But you and we will not let them get away with it. Supporters of union rights in Syracuse, in Madison, in Columbus, and across the country are rising as one to say no to union busting and yes to an America where workers' rights are protected. With your help, we shall prevail. Solidarity.
No to union busting! 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 No to union busting!
Okay, my friends, now I'd like to introduce you to Colleen Wheaton, who is the CSEA Central Region 5 President, and she will give us some words of encouragement today.
All right.
Colleen?
Good afternoon, everyone. We are here today, not as public sector workers, not as private sector workers, not as members of community groups. Today, we are united, and we are here, our Wisconsin. We are here to support basic rights for all workers. The right to freely assemble, the right to organize, the right to bargain collectively, and the right to have our voices heard. We are here today for workers across America. In fact, we are here for the middle class. We are here to support support the middle class. We are here to fight for the middle class. And we are here to stop the attacks against the middle class. For too long now, we've stayed too quiet. We allowed the wealthiest Americans to keep taking and taking and taking.
Right.
We have allowed too many huge corporations to get away without paying a dime in taxes.
Right.
And to make huge profits, while they have slowly destroyed our communities, shipping our jobs overseas and closing factories like the one behind us. Meanwhile, our taxes are going up while they get off scot-free. Sisters and brothers, it's time to come together. It's time to get angry. It's time to get loud. And it's time to fight back.
We won't go. Hell no, 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 we won't
Here in
go.
New York, there are those who want to take away our bargaining rights. They want to take away seniority from teachers. They want to lay off more public workers and balance the state budget deficit on the backs of working men and women. I asked you, did the highway workers cause this recession? No! Did the school crossing guards cause this recession? No! Did 911 operators cause this recession? No! Did our park workers cause this recession? No! You're right, Wall Street corporate greed caused our bad economy. Now it's time for everyone to pay their fair share. We have to fight for a better New York. Thank you.
We are Wisconsin.
We are Wisconsin. We are Wisconsin. We are Wisconsin. We are Wisconsin. We are Wisconsin. We are Wisconsin. We are Wisconsin. We are Wisconsin. We are Wisconsin.
We want Helen Hudson.
Yes, now friends, we have our friend, community activist. She's member of Mothers Against Gun Violence and also AFL-CIO, Helen Hudson.
I just want to say right now, we are at a critical juncture in the history of our country. Workers and workers' rights are under attack. Human rights are being violated. 51 years ago, the Civil Rights Movement, along with the Workers' Rights Movement, advocated together as one voice to ensure the rights of workers. It's bewildering to me that in the 21st century, that governors like Scott Walker feel that it's okay to strip workers of their rights and their dignity. The biggest majority of this country is in the category of the working poor. And the engine of our economy has always been the working men and women relying heavily on the middle class. Well, the middle class is slowly being eliminated. Our manufacturers, our teachers, and our state workers.
Yeah, of course I can. Absolutely. Yes, I can do it.
These are the workers that the Scott Walkers of the world are targeting. The workers that did not create this financial mess, but these are the people that some of our electeds are trying to balance the budget on our backs. The teachers did not cause this deficit, nor did the auto workers or the state workers. Now is the time for us to use our voices and tell our elected officials that you cannot continue to send this country on a race to the bottom, that it is imperative to continue collective bargaining, contract negotiations, and the right to organize, and to speak concise and clearly that you cannot balance your out-of-control deficits on the backs of the workers and continue tax breaks to the wealthy.
You got it! Tax the wealthy! 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 Tax the wealthy!
Tax the wealthy, tax the wealthy.
Tax the wealthy! Tax the wealthy!
Kevin Ahern, are you here from the Syracuse Teachers Association?
All right!
Can everybody hear me? Not working. There it is. All right, brothers and sisters. Brothers.
I got it. Yep.
Screw right in. Brothers and sisters. Okay. All right, brothers and sisters. Thank you all for coming out. I am Kevin Ahern. I represent over 3,000 working men and women in the Syracuse City School District. And I would first like to send a message to Mr. Valesky and tell him that we remember next election time. We're here to support the folks in Wisconsin. Remember, there we go. We're here to support the folks in Wisconsin and send a message to their governor, Scott Walker, and message to Chris Christie and their ilk throughout the country. We are the working people of America. We remember, we stick together, and we stand united. Stay together, stand united.
We stand united. We stand united. We stand united. We stand united. We stand united. We stand united. We stand united. We stand united. We stand united. We stand united.
All right.
Now we have two young activists who are out there with so many causes, all for social justice. They're amazing. They're people, we, all together, we think of a better society, of a better community. Their names are Richard Vallejo and Ursula Rosen.
You gonna hold it? All right, I'm Richard Vallejo with the Syracuse Peace Council. And you want to introduce?
I'm Ursula. I'm also with the Syracuse Peace Council.
And we see what's happening in Wisconsin, in Ohio. Yeah. We see what's happening in Wisconsin, in Ohio, Indiana, what's coming to New York State. Politicians say that the government has a spending problem, and they're blaming the economic problems on public workers and working class people. We say, yeah, we've got a spending problem, but it's not the public employees or public services. Since 2001, New York State taxpayers have contributed over $100 billion to the wars of aggression and occupation in Iraq and Afghanistan alone. Not even considering military aid and covert operations all over the world.
And what's the point of all these wars? The major parties tell us they're to protect our freedom, to spread, quote, democracy. So we have hundreds of thousands of young men and women being sent overseas to fight and die, and even more coming home permanently disabled. And for what? To come home to a country where we don't have jobs, where schools are being defunded, and young people are looking at lives full of debt and low wages. And now politicians are taking away our rights to stand up and organize against the people who have power over us. What kind of freedom is that?
So again, we look to what's happening in Wisconsin. We see what's spreading from Tunisia to Egypt to Libya. We see what we need to bring to New York State, and we see people rising up and saying enough. It's been too long that we've accepted the usual excuses from politicians. The blame and the burden of budget cuts put on working people, while multinationals get tax cuts and buy off our democracy. We say it's time to rise up, recognize our collective strength, and take the power back.
Take the power back! 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 Take the power back!
Now, friends, we have Bruce speak. Bruce here.
Bruce here. Bruce.
Bruce.
He's coming. He's right here. He's coming.
He's coming. He is another young activist.
Sir. Sorry.
Here he is. Very young activist. We are all young. And we're strong together. Bruce speak from the Answer Coalition.
Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Bruce Peak and I'm here to represent the Answer Coalition. ANSWER stands for Act Now to Stop War and End Racism. I'm glad to see so many outraged people here. Outraged by the greed and power lust of the corporate establishment. Outraged by the unwillingness of those we trust to protect us and do the people's will. And outraged by the government's subservience to the pirates who finance them. Brothers and sisters, we have seen through the scope of the recent events, most recently in Madison, Wisconsin, the obvious intention of this new breed of robber barons and their government lackeys.
People here in Central New York are rallying for workers in Wisconsin.
It is the same as the old breed, to render the working class powerless. It intends to completely destroy any recourse you may have to redress any labor-related grievances. It intends to betray your rights to a safe working environment. It intends to take away any right you may have to organize yourselves into a stronger, more vocal force than you could if you had attempted to take on the corporate cartels as individuals. And I think we all know what the chances of individual success are against those odds. There's an old union saying that an injury to one is an injury to all. Nothing could be truer at this point in time for non-union workers as well as union-affiliated workers. The capitalist power structure and media and business consultants and public relations firms have done one hell of a job keeping us divided by race, religion, ethnicity, gender, etc., throughout the industrialization of this planet. Now this insidious plan is going global. And if we continue to allow these divisive tactics to be effective, it will affect our children and grandchildren and generations upon generations to come. Not only in this country, but throughout the world. We will be back to the plantation mentality that the industrial giants are salivating for. And believe me, brothers and sisters, you will not need to be from Africa to become enslaved. Now, I know that sounds dire and perhaps a bit exaggerated, but if you look at some of the history of the labor movement, you'll see what I mean. Who caused the current economic crisis? The banks, Wall Street speculators, mortgage lenders, and global corporations shifting jobs in the United States overseas. Who's profiting in the recession? Corporate profits are 28% higher than last year, the biggest one-year jump in history. Who is not paying their fair share? In states facing a budget shortfall, revenues from corporate taxes have declined $2.5 billion in the last year. In Wisconsin, 2/3 of corporations pay no taxes. Meanwhile, average wages and total wages have fallen for all incomes, except for the wealthiest Americans. Will the right stop at curbing public worker rights? Employers across the United States are demanding major concessions from private sector workers and breaking unions, demanding major concessions. Right-wing governors and state legislators are seeking new laws to restrict union rights for all private and public employees. The right wing has made it clear it wants cuts in public pay, pensions, and health benefits, followed by restricting collective bargaining for public sector workers and eventually prohibiting public sector unions. It is the unions that won their 8-hour day, weekends off, and many other standards all Americans take for granted that are now often threatened with a 3-decade-long attack on unions spurred by right-wing icon Ronald Reagan. Never has anything been gained in any class struggle without a united force out in the streets. In most cases, people have been beaten, imprisoned, and sometimes murdered, at times by the very forces whose civic duty it is to protect our rights to assembly, freedom of speech, and redress of grievances. If we stand united now, we can avoid that type of confrontation. If we cannot, it will be the forces of worker oppression that will be the catalyst, not us.
Thank you.
At this time, we need to be resolute.
We stand united. We stand united.
You bet we do.
We stand united. We stand united. We stand united. We stand united. We stand united.
At this time,
We stand united.
at this time, we need to be resolute in our purpose, immovable in our outrage, and determined to keep what is ours now and what has been fought for through the ages. A right to unionize, a right to collective bargaining, and a right to employment free from corporate intimidation and political influence. Stay strong, stay united, stay vigilant. Power to the people!
Power to the people! Power to the people! Power to the people! Power to the people! Power to the people! Power to the people! Power to the people! Power to the people!
We have Holly Hawkins, Green Party activist and Teamster.
Hey, brothers and sisters, I see power. I haven't seen a demonstration like this in a while. What we are doing and standing for today is the same thing the people in Tahrir Square in Egypt were standing for. From the Middle East to the Midwest in Madison. And we have a fight right here in New York, don't we? They're cutting our schools. They're cutting our roads, our public services. They're attacking the seniority rights of the teachers, the pensions of the public workers, the Triborough Amendment for fair bargaining. And I don't care whether you're a public worker or a private worker, what is an injury to one is an injury to all. Are we going to end up like Detroit? You hear about Detroit? They're shutting down half the schools. And they're telling the kids they got to sit 60 kids to a class in first grade. The rich gotta pay their fair share. We shouldn't be talking layoffs. Why are we talking seniority rights and layoffs when there's enough money to fund our schools? When the rich don't pay their taxes? The top 1% pays the lowest tax rates in state and local taxes in the whole state of any of us. Donald Trump pays a lower rate than anybody here. That top 1% made 8% of all income in 1978. Today they get 35% of all income in New York. They need to pay up, not the worker sacrifice. Pay up, pay up, pay up, pay up, pay up, My last point. We gotta rely on our own power. We can't trust politicians, whether they're Republican or Democrat or even Green. Because the attacks on our rights in this state are coming from Democratic leadership, just like Republican leadership in Wisconsin.
You got it.
Now, remember this. How did we get public employee collective bargaining rights in New York? They didn't pass a law in Rochester in 1946. The police and the firefighters struck for better working conditions and wages. And the mayor fired them all. And the working class of Rochester called a general strike, shut the city down for 2 days, and the mayor said, okay, we're going to bargain. We got to remember that lesson. That's why I see power here. I'm glad to see it. We have a fight. So when they say cut back, we say fight back. They say cut back, we say fight back. Thank you.
Now we have a group of young people, the future of this country. Nuestros hijos, nuestros niños. They have a message for all of us, for everyone, for our government. Go ahead.
Save our teachers! 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 Save our teachers!
Can you say it? You will say El Pueblo Unido.
Yeah, El Pueblo.
El pueblo unido no más
será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
El pueblo
Unido jamás será vencido.
El pueblo
Unido jamás
será vencido.
The people
united will never be defeated. The people
United will never be
defeated. The people united will never be defeated.
El pueblo
Unido jamás será
vencido. El pueblo
unido jamás
será vencido. Now we're going to invite Phil Smith from United University Professionals. They have 5,000 members just in our community. Phil Smith. Sorry.
Good afternoon, everybody. Greetings from my 35,000 brothers and sisters who teach at the State University Colleges of New York, SUNY. And I'm also an AFT Vice President and bring greetings from our 1.5 million members across the state and this nation. Hey, it may not be Madison, but it feels cold like Madison. But this is my home of Syracuse, and I want to make sure that all of you, my brothers and sisters from 1199 SEIU, PEF, CSCA, Teamsters, and all the other unions that are here, we have to stay united. We've heard it before. So what's disgusting?
Union busting!
What's disgusting?
Union busting!
Are we gonna put up with it?
No!
Are we gonna fight back?
Yes!
All right, stay united, stay strong, stay warm.
Now we have Leilani Beersley. She's a nurse at Upstate in pediatric surgery. Yay!
Thank you. I want to say one thing is, I think it's great that we have so many young people out here. We need to organize our youth and get them moving in the right direction. So thank you for showing up. I represent the Public Employee Federation Registered Nurses at Upstate Medical Center. I work in the pediatric operating room. And without these services, the indigent people of Central New York would be without health care. We stand here today for PEF to support our brothers and sisters in Wisconsin, Ohio, and Indiana to fight for the fundamental right of collective bargaining.
Yes!
Here in New York, we have felt cuts that have affected our ability to provide services to the citizens. We fear that Governor Cuomo will make more cuts. He is already putting on the table the amendment that allows us to continue our contract. And we do not have a contract as of April of this year. So we really need to stand in solidarity to make sure that this opportunity does not allow Governor Cuomo to take away our rights to collective bargaining. We must stand together to fight for all citizens, private and public, that deserve quality health care, quality education, quality police, and quality fire protection. We have too long protected banks, corporate America, and billionaires. It is now our time to look for our rights and our protections. Thank you for your support.
Good representation of our hospital.
You know my friend Jamie
Thank you so much. David Van Arstel, Professor of Sociology and Labor Relations at OCC.
Right!
How we doing? Woo! It's great to see so many people out here today. I teach at OCC. I want to be able to look at my students and say, you've got a future.
You don't just got a future out there in the public sector, in the private sector, but you got a future here in Syracuse. We need to save the public sector everywhere. We definitely need to save it here, and then we need to bring jobs back to the private sector here. This factory right here shouldn't stay vacant like this. It shouldn't stay empty. We need to find ways to bring work back to this place. My students want it, they need it, they're asking for it, and we can make it happen. Jobs for Syracuse! Jobs for Syracuse!
Jobs for Syracuse! Jobs for Syracuse! Jobs for Syracuse! Jobs for Syracuse!
I want to bring a bit of a personal story to these times coming from my students. They wanted me to relay this message to everyone here today. A lot of my students work, and I just want to roll down the places they work. Most of them. We did a survey here the last couple days. They work for temporary services.
No benefits, no salary.
They work for McDonald's, Burger King. They work for Walmart and Rite Aid. And many of them, lots of them work in the mall too. I should say that. Many of them, they need to, we've been talking about this, and you guys have a sense of this, but I want to. People say, well, how does having union density help everybody? We don't get it. The private sector seems to be doing well with wages. And I say, let me give you an example. And there's a couple students in class that were working for a local company here, not too far from here, Bristol Myers and Squibb. Well, we dug a little deeper. They weren't really working for Bristol Myers and Squibb. They were working for a temp company. They were making $9 an hour. Now, my aunt used to work for Bristol Myers and Squibb as a security guard. When she worked there, she had a pension. She retired after 35 years with a pension, strong middle-class wage throughout her life there. Now, people say Bristol Myers and Squibb was a union, right? They were a union, but how did they determine their wages? They determined them against what carrier paid their workers. That's right. To keep unions out, companies often set their wages higher than what the union companies are paying. The problem is when Carrier disappeared, and the union workers at Syracuse China disappeared, and the union workers at GM disappeared, and the union workers at GE disappeared, and we could go down the line. When those workers disappear, everybody's wages come down. Everyone's wages come down, and the workers left. You guys know what happened to the communities. I don't have to tell you. Look around. Our communities are hurting. We've got two of the poorest neighborhoods in Syracuse in the United States. We've got a lot of work to do, but we can bring work back here. We can own it. And when people own their work, when they're at the table negotiating on behalf of themselves, they're also negotiating on behalf of communities. And that's how we keep communities strong. And they have an incentive to keep the work in the city. The people that sold this place, they don't live here. We can't negotiate with people that don't have an incentive to stay here. So, we've got a lot of work to do. I wanna just relay. I had another point here that I've lost. Obviously, I'm searching for it.
I'm not gonna sing.
Maybe just a chant to help me out. Give me a chant.
Stay strong. Stay strong.
Stay strong. Stay strong. Stay strong. Stay strong. Stay strong. Stay strong. Stay strong. Stay strong. Stay strong.
For my dissertation, which I wrote at Syracuse University, it's called Waiting for Work. I just want to tell you what I did. I went and I worked for a bunch of factories in Syracuse as a temp worker. And we have to know how big this industry is, and that what they want to do to the public sector is to make all workers temporary workers as well. We have to know this. That when a worker loses a full-time job and a strong paying job, the consequences on him and her and the family is significant. You guys know this, but we can't forget this. I'll stop there.
Thank you.
I'll stop
Union now! Union now! Union now!
Union now! Union now! Union now!
Do we have Kate Forbes? Kate Forbes?
Kate Forbes, where are you?
United University Professionals. So we already have the For now, I just want to speak. I am the coordinator of the Worker Center of Central New York. And I have something for them.
We are Bill Freedom.
And I gotta look for it. It's short, I promise.
Union yes! Union yes! Union yes! Union yes!
Union yes! Union yes!
Compañeros y compañeras. Friends, low-wage workers have been under attack for a long time. They get cheated out of their wages, misclassified, or just not paid at all. Many are living these injustices in silence in our own communities. Wisconsin is a wake-up call to action. If the powerful are going after the unions, what's there for the rest of us? What is there for farm workers, the ones who picks and packs your apples? They do not have basic rights.
That's right, Rebecca!
Farm workers in New York and in the majority of the United States do not enjoy the right to overtime pay, a day of rest, or disability insurance. More importantly, collective bargaining laws do not cover farm workers in New York. What a shame!
Shame on them!
What is there for immigrant workers?
Nothing!
The fight for fair treatment and legal protection for immigrant workers in this country is linked to the fight for the better wages, benefits, and working conditions for all workers. We should not allow workers to be pitted one against the other because of their national origin.
You're right!
Everything labor has ever won came by building a grassroots movement and a strong community alliances like the ones we're creating today. Together we the people. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. Unido jamás será vencido. The people united will never be defeated. United will never be defeated. For low-wage workers, I want to hear you say, sí se puede. For low-wage workers, you say, I say that and you say, sí se puede. Okay? So, I will give you the list of for who sí se puede. Sí se puede is yes we can. For low-wage workers.
Sí se puede.
For immigrant workers.
Sí se puede.
For farm workers.
Sí se puede.
For all workers.
Sí se puede.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that'd like to come up and say something before we close the rally today?
Close the rally!
We got two young ladies here.
I'm Barb Patrick. I'm the legislative VP of New York State Now, the National Organization for Women. And we're all over the country. We're going to start a First Friday vigil outside federal buildings and state buildings, starting here in Syracuse on the 1st of April. And we'll do it every first Friday because that's when the labor statistics come out. And I want as many people to show up, so I'm going to give my email address, so if you want to be a co-sponsor, it's barb_Kirkpatrick at Verizon.net. And help us get our movement going, because we want a national jobs program from the government, because we've already given money to private business, and how does that work? So let's try something